thank you for standing by. Still to come on the show, I did tell you what's coming up in the second hour, but in the first hour, we will be talking with Nishan Bolton, director of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, and we are going to be talking about obviously remembering the anti-apartheid struggle veteran. There is an exhibition that opened yesterday at Constitution Hill. He's going to talk more about that matter. News reporter of Shamshad TV based in Afghanistan, Sial Yusufi, will be talking to us about the UN to stop exempting Taliban officials from travel restrictions. But first up, a big story in Pakistan, and that has to deal with the Pakistan police charging ex-Prime Minister under the Terrorism Act. We'll talk to Altaf Shakoor. He is the chairman of the Pasban Democratic Party. And of course, we are talking about ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan. Assalamu alaikum to you, Altaf. Welcome to the program. It is exactly 9 minutes after 8 o'clock South African time. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Altaf, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to South Africa.
Altaf Shakoor. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice to have you on the show. Let us understand what exactly is happening. We understand Pakistan police have charged the country's former Prime Minister Imran Khan under anti-terror laws. Their investigation comes after Imran Khan accused the police and judiciary of detaining and torturing his close aide. What exactly is the status quo as you and I speak now?
Yes, actually, to be very frank, I'm a blunt man. So I wouldn't hesitate in mentioning that Imran Khan is the latest version of Lawrence of Arabia, nothing else. He was brought into power with the support of international plus local establishment, okay? He was given 120 days Dharna activity in the red zone area, Islamabad, and the government of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was not allowed to perform. From that day, Pakistan is, losing its economy, and now we are about to bankruptcy. So the agenda of Imran Khan is nothing else but to target all the institutions one by one. The local establishment which was supporting him and who brought him into the power when he agitated and he took some major decisions which were not in favor of our country. So the support which he was enjoying was no more there. So basically, Imran does not enjoy the support in the number of votes which were he got in the elections. In fact, he was brought into power by the establishment. So I think he criticized judiciary, female judge yesterday or day before yesterday, and the police and the local establishment didn't spare Nawaz Sharif or Mariam Nawaz or other political leaders, and they were put into jail behind the bars, and they spent there for a few months or days or years. But this blue-eyed boy is being given free for all. So I think so. Now he is crossing the red line, and the local administration and the local establishment has decided to cut to him. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Carry
Hello?
on. Yes, I can hear you.
So now he's not no more enjoying those favors which he was enjoying previously.
But when he was in power, clearly he was anti-corruption, was he not? When you look at past
Yes.
governments in Pakistan, they all corrupt. They were all involved in deep-seated corruption. They've enriched themselves and their families. And past governments, including the current government, has a history of crookery and corruption, and like I say, have enriched themselves, their family members, and trying to get their own families into power, whereas this was not the case with Imran Khan.
Look, Imran Khan government made huge corruptions, just like his previous government. His ministers exploited the public wealth. They made huge corruption, and just like Nawaz Sharif or other previous Zardari government. So Imran Khan's government is not different from the previous governments. This anti-corruption was only a slogan, just like he went against America. That was also a political, stunt. So these are only eye-catching and to give him an impression that he's against corruption. Although all his right and left lieutenants in his cabinet, more or less, they were all corrupt. So how can he say that I am against anti-corruption? Birds of the same feather flocks together. So I don't think so.
Okay,
He's
all
serious
right,
in his
all
narrative
right,
that he is
Altaf.
anti-corruption.
All right, Altaf, let's ask you the question then. You are the chairperson of the Pasban Democratic Party. Obviously, you are against Imran Khan, his ex government, and the current government as well. What are the chances of your party ever? Coming into being able to rule Pakistan, and what would you then do to change the status quo in Pakistan, because it does have a very, very sad and long history of absolute nepotism and corruption.
Look, actually, the present electoral system does not allow a common man, a sincere person, to come into office, to come into the power corridor. For each and every election of provincial or national assembly, one has to have at least 15 to 20 crore rupees in his pocket. So without that corrupt amount, no one can get into power corridor. So these are electables. These is all the three big parties, Muslim League or People's Party or Tariq Insaf PTI. These all parties are based on electables. So to get them out is not possible unless and until and unless there are major electoral reforms. Because proportional representation system is an alternative in which those individuals who invest money in electoral process and get many times more after coming into power. So to close these doors and to have people of character in the power corridor, these electoral systems should be bulldozed, and an entire system should be introduced, which is obviously not possible at this stage. And I don't think so. These all the three leading parties in Pakistan are sincere, or they want this proportional representation system or anti-corruption based elections, because they buy votes. When they buy votes, how can you, say that they are corruption free? They have invested money. They will take back. So simple. And people like me or Pasban Democratic Party, obviously we are not those electables. We have not made money from corruption. We are middle class or lower middle class people. So it's not that easy for people like us. For example, I gave you an example.
Okay,
The,
can you hold that thought, please? I need to bring in a couple of questions to you. You
okay,
referred
okay.
to Imran Khan as the blue-eyed boy. You also referred to him as Lawrence of Arabia. I'd like you to explain that, but before we carry on as well, I have a comment by a listener, Bilal Hussein, who says he totally disagrees with your comments on Imran Khan's government. Bilal, I'm hoping you can expand on that comment of yours so that we can get Altaf Shakoor to elaborate more on his comments. So a listener is totally disagreeing with you. I put the question to you that the other comment you've also made is that when I asked you if Imran Khan himself was involved in corruption, you said his ministers were involved. I assume you mean that Imran Khan himself was not involved in corruption. So, where do we stand with this matter? Why do you refer to him as the blue eyed boy or Lawrence of Arabia? And finally, uh, his supporters are saying that if Imran Khan is arrested under the Terrorism Act, um, government should be ready because his supporters are going to take action against them. So, quite a few questions I've put to you. Can you respond, please?
Look, first of all, the people behind him are more or less burger families. I don't think so. They are capable of even uh, to face uh, any action the government takes against Imran Khan. Uh, they don't have the people who can fight for their, leader. These people more or less are, although they are followers, but they are more or less the media hype has poisoned their brains. These people, these leading parties buy the channels, TV channels, they buy the attackers, they form the public opinion, they divert from the real issues. For example, Dr. Arafia case. No one is sincere. Nawaz Sharif, Imran Khan or Zardari. 20 years. Her mother just left this world after 20 years waiting for her sister. These political leaders, governments, they are not sincere with the country, with the nation. They are only and only sincere with the power. So I don't think so. This my the on the other side who has put this question. Uh, he should revisit the formation of PTI, the whole these years in which he was brought into power corridor. He was the single no, National Assembly member, one ticket only from Yawali. And within no time, he was the largest, PTI was the largest political party of the country. How could it be possible? Within 2, 3 years, that party, which had only a one seat in the National Assembly, uh, became one of the major leading party because they compromised. They compromised on many issues. They compromised on the, I mean, all the core issues of the nation which we are facing. So,
Okay. All right. Let me come in here again,
otherwise,
please.
it's easy.
Altaf, let me come in here again. You haven't quite answered my questions. How damaging, are these remarks? Do you think that he seems to have a very, very strong following? You've referred to him as Lawrence of Arabia. I need to understand why. And also remember at when he lost the elections, when he was ousted out of power, he fingered the United States of America for being directly involved in his downfall. Surely, if you are referring him as Lawrence of Arabia, it clashes with the comments he made at the time when he was ousted out of power. saying and suggesting that the Western governments had actually colluded and got him out of power and brought their own stooges in. How do you respond to that?
Look, this anti-America narrative, which he made public last month, was only to control the damage which was inflicted to PTI in the foreign funding case. You know, millions and millions of dollars were deposited in the PTI account from foreign countries, including Israel and India. So there were bright chances that PTI will be disqualified and the leadership Imran Khan will be put to jail behind the bars for a good time. So just to avoid that this narrative against America, with blessing of America, with an understanding, because he made a video call to the ambassador of America when he was uh, uh, KPK province. The chief minister of PTI made this arrangement. So on one hand, their narrative is that we want to be free from American influence and Western influence. And the very next hour, they are talking to American ambassador uh, separately. It was the telephone call was made on August 3rd of August, and it was made public on 12th of August after 9 days. Why? Just because they are not true, they are not sincere with their narrative that they are anti-American.
Okay, you've made some very serious allegations suggesting that the PTI party was funded heavily by Israel and India. And these are the two countries that Imran Khan has lashed out repeatedly at, regarding all of their atrocities being perpetrated on the Palestinian people, and in India, the whole issue around Islamophobia. It doesn't gel, does it? If Imran Khan has, or his PTI party has received vast amounts of monies from these two countries, why would he openly lambaste them for their, for the atrocities on innocent people? It doesn't gel at all.
Look, as far as Kashmir is concerned and the atrocities made by India with the local Muslim population and other minorities, Imran Khan or other leaders have just paid lip service. Nothing more than that. This the dynamics of Kashmir was changed when he was in power, and they just protested was for a single minute. They just I mean took 1 minute for Kashmir issue, and that was the end of it. No more, no less. So the atrocities are there in India as well as in Kashmir, and the PTI or the other government which are, registering their protests, they are not more than lip service.
I find that very difficult to believe that a leader would just give lip service, very especially if he has such strong funders like Israel and India. But obviously, you have uh, tangible proof to make these allegations, proof to suggest. That this is in fact true. We're going to have to leave it there, Altaf Shakoor, but hopefully tomorrow we'll try and get another, possibly the PTI, to come on board and explain the uh, the allegations you have made against Imran Khan and his party, just to get a more balanced view on this matter. But we thank you indeed for your time, your sentiments, and hopefully we'll get, like I said, perhaps a more balanced view with another, maybe, as I've said, someone from the PTI. But thank you for your time. Salaam alaikum to you. And it is exactly 8:28 a.m. South African time. It is Salam Media News and Views with me, Julie Ali.